Hey guys, so one thing we always want to avoid for wide receivers is false step. So false step is something that happens when you go to get out of your stance and you raise your front foot and you don't keep it pressed into the ground. So if you watch my front foot here, we'll see me false step and lift that foot up. So that's one thing you'll see from a lot of wide receivers. I'm going to show you from the other side so you see it from the inside foot. So if my left foot's up, the same idea here. We lift this up, we raise it, and then we try to get off. So that's one thing you always want to avoid, because one thing that it does is it makes us stand up because your body's unbalanced. So the second that we stand up here, and these are exaggerated from me, but when I'm in this position here, okay, in the first video I talked about stance and start. So we want to be in this good position here. We have our good knee bend to go over that. We have a good lean in our, from our back. Our chest is over our knee. So great position here. The second that I lift this foot up, it makes me stand up because my body's off balance. So now as this lifts up, my left leg gets extended, okay? Now there's no weight on this foot. And now as I go to re-catch myself, my body wants to reset because it felt like I was falling forward without having that front foot down. So it's gonna naturally stand up. Like I said, I'm over exaggerating this, but you will see it from your athletes. If you just had two athletes stand next to each other, if one of them keeps this front foot down and holds it there and rolls over the front foot, that's kind of the cue that we talk about, rolling over the front foot, and then you have someone else false step, you'll be able to see it instantaneously off the jump, because you'll see one athlete stand up and you'll also see that other athlete stay in a low position and be able to accelerate out. So that's one thing you really want to look for. So if you have like the first day of practice, you really want to cue these guys and have them stand in this and have them all just ready, set, hut, and burst off. And if you're an athlete or a player watching this, if you're doing this by yourself, videotape yourself and see if you do it without thinking about it. And then if you're with a bunch of your teammates, have all of you line up together, either videotape it or just ready, set, hut, and then see who's the fastest off the ball, because if you keep that front foot down, it'll be very noticeable about who's able to get off the line, because they'll be able to accelerate out and be able to get a good first step. So the way that we can fix this is talk to these players about take their big toe and press their big toe hard into the ground. It's not noticeable from another player, and all you're really thinking about is pressing that toe down. And whether you think about I'm holding down a button or pressing in, or the way I say it sometimes too is whether you're pressing a button or as if somebody took a nail and put it down through the top of your shoe and you can't lift your shoe off the ground. So keep that front foot pressed into the ground, and we just want to roll over it. So as we roll forward, we keep that foot pressed in. We can keep our shoulders tipped over, and then we can keep this good knee bend, and we can burst forward and take a good long step instead of this. Because even when we do this, that first step, by it going back, we just lost this little bit of yardage. And when we lose that and we stand up, now as we go to take our second step, we can only step so far. So these things will add up. So if we're on this first step, if we do this and step to here, we can only get this far. But if we keep that foot down, we can probably drive this foot not only to get further out, but be in a better position. So, and once again, if you're an athlete, if you film yourself doing this, the amount of distance, you'll see it, and you can look at the two different videos, put a couple marks out there, you'll see how far you can really step with this. So just make sure, whether you're an athlete or a coach, that's one thing to really look out for, is the false step. And if you can fix that for your players, you'll notice very quickly of them getting off the line very fast and being able to get down the field. If you're dealing with press, yes, once in a while we're going to want to do a step back move to get away from a defender, but 95% of the time you're going to want to be able to step forward and roll over that front foot and just avoid the false steps. It's just going to help you get down the field faster.